Hey guys, good morning. So, I've been thinking about how much I hear, like how much conversation goes on. I know everybody or most people have a mental dialogue, and I do too, but lately I've been thinking that a lot of the time I've said on here a lot that I talk to myself all the time. I think a lot of the time when I'm talking, it's me doing it. It's me and my language doing it, but I don't think it's always coming from me. I mean, I think it's coming from my higher self, but I don't always think it's coming from me. And so this morning when I woke up, before I had barely even opened my eyes, it's very, very clear. I'm sure it's the same for most people, but for me in the morning, it's just very clear before the thoughts start. There's all kinds of good stuff going on. There's all kinds of clarity, and there's access to ideas and things like that. And I don't know about you, but I often squander it by like immediately opening my phone and opening my email or something like that, or going to YouTube. And today I didn't. Today I was laying there in the dark, and I had just shut my alarm off. So I had to open my eyes to hit the button. And I thought, you know what? I'm going to open Notepad and I'm just going to voice dictate into this. And this is what happened. I said out loud, what do I need to know today? And this was immediate. It was verbalized, mentally, whatever. It was articulated immediately. I mean, this took maybe less than a minute to write this. It wasn't like super fast. It didn't come flying out, but it was pretty clear what was said. What do I need to know today? You need to know that you are loved. You need to be at peace. You need to try to orient yourself correctly to the world. You need to try to help others as much as you can. You need to think about the future and what you want that to look like, and try to act in accordance with that. And you need to stop being so hard on yourself. That might just have been for me. You need to realize how glorious you are, that you are a divine creation of God. Escape this world. That is what came out. Then I said, what do I need to speak about today to others? And it was a noticeably nothing there. So I don't know if that meant you don't need to talk to others today, but you know what? I'm making a YouTube video every day this year, so I am going to make it. And what I did after that was I said, okay, well, what do I usually do when I'm going to make a video? I don't really have anything specific to talk about, which didn't turn out to be the case. I just made a video about my experience with accidentally manifesting some money this week. That came later. But so I went to A Course in Miracles, because that's what I do. I asked the Oracle, what is it, decide for me. It says right on there, Holy Spirit, decide for me. Liaison between me and the source of everything. What do I need to do today? What do I need to think about right now? So here's what it gave me. I'm going to read it to you, and I'm going to tell you what I did with this. Lesson 121, forgiveness is the key to happiness. Here is the answer to your search for peace. Here is the key to meaning in a world that seems to make no sense. Here is the way to safety in apparent dangers that appear to threaten you at every turn and bring uncertainty to all your hopes of ever finding quietness and peace. Here are all questions answered. Here, the end of all uncertainty ensured at last. The unforgiving mind is full of fear and offers love no room to be itself, no place where it can spread its wings in peace and soar above the turmoil of the world. The unforgiving mind is sad, without the hope of respite and release from pain. It suffers and abides in misery, peering about in darkness, seeing not, yet certain of the danger lurking there. Can you not relate to this? The unforgiving mind is torn with doubt, confused about itself and all it sees, afraid and angry, weak and blustering, afraid to go ahead, afraid to stay, afraid to waken or to go to sleep, afraid of every sound, yet more afraid of stillness, terrified of darkness, yet more terrified at the approach of light. What can the unforgiving mind perceive but its damnation? What can it behold except the proof that all its sins are real? The unforgiving mind sees no mistakes but only sins. It looks upon the world with sightless eyes and shrieks as it beholds its own projections rising to attack its miserable parody of life. It wants to live, yet wishes it were dead. It wants forgiveness, yet it sees no hope. It wants escape, yet can conceive of none because it sees the sinful everywhere. The unforgiving mind is in despair without the prospect of a future which can offer anything but more despair. Yet it regards its judgment of the world as irreversible and does not see it has condemned itself to this despair. It thinks it cannot change, for what it sees bears witness that its judgment is correct. It does not ask because it thinks it knows. It does not question, certain it is right. Forgiveness is acquired. It is not inherent in the mind which cannot sin. As sin is an idea you taught yourself, forgiveness must be learned by you as well, but from a teacher other than yourself, who represents the other self in you, capital S, self. Through him, you learn how to forgive the self you think you made and let it disappear. Thus, you return your mind as one to him who is yourself, capital S, and who can never sin. Each unforgiving mind presents you with an opportunity to teach your own how to forgive itself. Each one awaits release from hell through you and turns to you imploringly for heaven here and now. It has no hope, but you become its hope. And as its hope, do you become your own. The unforgiving mind must learn through your forgiveness that it has been saved from hell. And as you teach salvation, you will learn. Yet all your teaching and your learning will not be of you, but of the teacher who was given you to show the way to you. Today we practice learning to forgive. If you are willing, you can learn today to take the key to happiness and use it on your own behalf. We will devote 10 minutes in the morning and at night another 10 to learning how to give forgiveness and receive forgiveness too. The unforgiving mind does not believe that giving and receiving are the same. Yet we will try to learn today that they are one through practicing forgiveness towards one whom you think of as an enemy and one whom you consider as a friend. And as you learn to see them both as one, we will extend the lesson to yourself and see that their escape included yours. Begin the longer practice periods by thinking of someone you do not like, who seems to irritate you, or to cause regret in you if you should meet him, one you actively despise or merely try to overlook. It does not matter what the form your anger takes. You probably have chosen him already. He will do. Now close your eyes and see him in your mind and look at him a while. Try to perceive some light in him somewhere, a little gleam which you had never noticed. Try to find some little spark of brightness shining through the ugly picture that you hold of him. Look at this picture till you see a light somewhere within it, and then try to let this light extend until it covers him and makes the picture beautiful and good. Look at this changed perception for a while and turn your mind to one you call a friend. Try to transfer the light you learned to see around your former enemy to him. Perceive him now as more than friend to you, for in that light his holiness shows you your Savior, saved and saving, healed and whole. Then let him offer you the light you see in him, and let your enemy and friend unite in blessing you with what you gave. Now you are one with them and they with you. Now have you been forgiven by yourself. Do not forget throughout the day the role forgiveness plays in bringing happiness to every unforgiving mind, with yours among them. Every hour, tell yourself, forgiveness is the key to happiness. I will awaken from the dream that I am mortal, fallible, and full of sin, and know I am the perfect Son of God. So I read this and I did this morning after my little higher self auto dictating that I did on my phone. And honestly, the thing I thought was kind of funny was I had a really hard time thinking of anybody, because I don't know, even the people that I really don't like, I don't really hate them. I definitely don't see them as having no light. So, but I landed on I mentioned in my last video that at the 11th hour, when my dad was dying and in the hospital, somebody managed to get themselves assigned as the beneficiary to his life insurance policy. This is shit you see on TV. Well, it happened to me. So whatever, it was the last video I made. I'll just link to it or something, or I don't know, you can just look for it, whatever. I'm really bad about linking to stuff, sorry. But anyway, long story short, my brother and I challenged the validity of that. It just got tied up in the life insurance company, and it's just sat there for 4 years. And we kind of agreed, we don't give a shit as long as that person does not receive it. We don't need the money, but we just don't want that person to get it after this conniving and underhanded thing that they did. So since this has been in my, I don't know, in case you don't watch that video, this cropped back up on Monday, suddenly out of nowhere. The life insurance company is putting that whole thing to bed in the form of going to court and just basically getting it off their books. So the court we will have to go to court over it. That hasn't happened yet, though. They're basically saying, hey, you guys have a chance to work this out amongst yourselves before then. So anyway, that person has cropped back into my awareness. Somebody who I am fully ready to let go in every way. Will never have a reason to see this person again, I hope. Just basically, you know, I went back and reread through all the emails from that time between like me and the lawyer, and I had to write out a big timeline of everything that happened, and we had to, you know, compare like my dad's signature on this form to his checks, and it was just like there was all this stuff. And you know, on Monday and Tuesday and Wednesday I was going through all this stuff again, and like text message conversations and stuff, and it was really a drag, honestly. I don't care about this. I'm not willing to go to court over it. I really don't give a shit. I don't at this point give a shit if that person gets paid out. I really don't care. Like, I've put this behind me. It was 4 years ago. And anyway, you know, I don't really know what happened. It's possible that, though everything appears forged, it's possible that, you know, it's legit. I don't know. We don't know. We'll never know. So this person was the only person I could come up with to, you know, like focus on for this forgiveness thing. So I did what it said. I was imagining this person and just, you know, seeing light around this person, like it said. I was just imagining light around this. It wasn't that hard because I don't think of this person as being evil or devoid of anything good or anything like that. I'm not even really sure, like I said, that this thing, it was, you know, it was underhanded, but I already understand, you know. The gravy train from my dad was drying up, and there was a lot of fear, and so, you know, actions were taken that would have been done in a better way. But I understand that they're coming from fear. They were coming from this person's fear of the future without my dad being around. You know, I can relate to that. And honestly, I think I forgave this whole situation, but I got pissed about it again, reading through it and just thinking about reliving it and reliving my dad's death and remembering all the things that happened because, like, you know, blissfully, I have forgotten so many of the details. And reading through it, I mean, it was right there. I had basically written out a detailed description of the whole time I was down there, like 2 months worth of like events. Reading through it again, I was just re-experiencing it. It just sucked. So I was thinking of this person this morning. We'll just refer to this person as X, okay? So I was thinking of X this morning, and it, you know, wasn't that difficult to see light in X. X did things for my father. X cared about my father. And, you know, X provided value, and X probably, I mean, you know, I don't know. I don't really know. Point is, it wasn't that difficult to see this. Kind of seeing X filled with light and seeing the good things about X. And at a certain point in there, as I'm visualizing this, I just said, you know, I don't really want anything to do with this life insurance thing. I don't know what's going to happen with it. My brother and the lawyer and X's lawyer have been talking and everything, and I don't really know what's going on with that. But I just thought, I'm not reading through this stuff anymore. I'm not involving myself emotionally with this anymore. I'm okay with X getting that entire life insurance policy. I don't even really care. Like, why do I care? You know, if my dad were here right now, I don't think he'd have a problem with X getting that money. If my dad were here right now, especially like in his non-physical and perfect form, where he was no longer burdened with cancer and, facing death, I especially think that in his highest form, he would just be like, yeah, just let X have it. Let X have it. I certainly don't think he would want my brother and me to be experiencing anything negative. I certainly don't think he would want me to be reliving the negative parts of his death. So pretty much like in an instant, I had a major shift about that situation. I just don't care. I just don't care anymore. I don't care what happens. I'm definitely not at a point anymore where I'm like, as long as X doesn't get it, then I'm happy. I don't care. So who did that help? Did it help X? No, it helped me. And that's kind of the point of this whole thing, I think. The point of these things is that it's you. It's all coming from you. Your experience is all coming from you. It's not coming from anybody else. And you're not hurting anybody else with your thoughts about them. Other than that, it creates a different version of you that perpetuates hell on earth. But it's you that's bearing the brunt of your thoughts about others. If you want to take this out of A Course in Miracles, who does that benefit other than me? The ideal situation would be that I would be happy that X got that payout, right? Wouldn't that be ideal? Wouldn't the ideal thing have been basically to just say, whatever, who cares? It becomes difficult, I think. It's like, where's the boundary? Where do you draw the line between what someone else does and what's okay for someone else to do to you or, with you or whatever? Where do you draw the line and say, that's too far? Where is that? How does that fit into this whole thing? And honestly, I think the general answer is turn the other cheek. It's a foreign way of thinking and living in this current world. But that's what happened after that. That was my experience with this lesson today. And so we'll see what happens today. I have not spoken to my brother yet. I did send him some texts this morning after that saying, I really don't think we should, if there can't be an agreement reached about this situation between X and us, then what will have to happen is it will have to go to court. And I already told my brother I'm not doing that. I'm not willing to be a part of that. So if that is the situation, I will release any claim I would have on this and you can just have the whole thing. He's a lawyer, so he can do a whole bunch of the work himself. And he's very dead set on fighting this because of the way it went down and because of the question. And I've sort of thought this whole time that that's not a great, I just don't think it's going to benefit him. I don't think his mind being in this area is going to produce anything good. But there's nothing I can really do about that. But anyway, I texted him this morning and said, I don't, let's see if he's texted me back. I don't know that we should really be getting too up in arms about this. Ooh, I have 6 text messages. Yup. He responded, your consistency of opinion makes the negotiations easier for me. Because I've been I've said like 100 different things about this over the last few days. I've been like, let's nail X to the wall. And I've been like, I really don't care about this. And I've been like, let's negotiate. Maybe we should just whatever, try to get what we can. And I've just been like back and forth on everything because it's like the internal part is just fighting. It's like, you want to like do this thing, but the real, I said, I definitely don't think you should spend any time in this moving forward. Wallace Wattles would not approve of this manifestational juju. He said, this is a unique situation where Wattles does not apply. That's a joke. Then he sent me a video of his dog humping a stuffed animal because his dog humps everything. Okay, anyway, so that's how that played out. I'm glad my brother's not mad at me. But that's how that played out. And you're seeing it real time. I hope that helped anybody. Have a great day.